Welcome back to Kingdom. We are live here at the BEC Arena in Manchester for Kingdom number 6. I'm glad to be joined by Danny Roberts, UFC veteran, UFC legend, UK MMA legend.
Thank you
Nice to
very
see you,
much,
brother.
my guy. Thank you very much.
It's an honor to have Danny here. Danny, we've got a bit of an announcement to make.
Yep,
You're going to be joining the Kingdom media team.
yep. And listen, I'm ecstatic. I'm really, really excited. I cannot wait to be able to start this journey. Kingdom have done massive things, and just where they've come, where they've transpired, and the growth of the organization so far has been a fantastic thing. So I just cannot wait to be a part of the team and move forward. Make going from strength to strength.
Yeah, Kingdom, it's a young promotion, right? But like you said, the development of the promotion has been incredible, especially compared to other promotions, like the time that the promotion has had to build to where it is now.
Yeah.
What was like your biggest attraction towards working for Kingdom?
If I'm completely honest, it is that. It's the understanding the kind of the dynamic of it. Obviously, for a lot of up and coming athletes, this is a great platform for them to come and showcase their skills. Um, and obviously, as well as that, is the fantastic matchups that they have. Back to back matchups of just, it's going to be fireworks tonight. And yeah, I'm excited to see what goes down. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to be able to, to speak about these fights and commentate on them and have some sort of say. So yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean the matches are always, unparalleled to anyone else, well evened, exciting fights, from the bottom all the way to the top of the card. Just one last thing before we touch on to the fights. Like what was your reasoning for wanting to, be in this seat and kind of, take this journey down this path?
I'd definitely put it down to, the experience, the time that I've had within the game. I'm a 17 fight veteran within the UFC, representing the UK, and I definitely feel like I've got a lot to give, and I've still got a lot to give. I've got lot of love for the sport. There's a lot of the younger up and coming athletes that, again, it's just that whole kind of thing of, it's nostalgic to be able
Yeah.
to kind of just take yourself back to the earlier days of development of the sport and just where you was at that time. And for me, again, the whole kind of journey of where it's gone and come from to where it is now. Again, it's just a very special thing for me. So I ultimately I want to be able to be a part of this, and I want to be able to build up my acumen in a different facet of life, but also still keep it within what this is for me, and that is a brilliant sport. And again, it's been a fantastic career for me so far.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic career. It's an honor for you to be a part of the Kingdom team. And yeah, I'm excited to see the work that we're going to be doing in the future, brother.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's get stuck in. So the main event, Tony Silva versus Tom Mullen. We saw Tony Silva last time out against Danny Dix, and he put on an incredible performance. He was chopping at the calf kicks. He landed some, I mean, the elbows is really what won him the fight in that last fight. He's this dog, Tony Silva. But then, Tom Mullen, what a prospect he is. He's only 24 years old, 7-2. You know about Tom for,
Yeah.
you've known him quite a long time. What do you think about Tom Mullen's skills?
I think this is a great fight. I think for Tom to be fighting Silva again, I think it's a perfect matchup for him. It's a good test for him at this stage in his career to be able to see, where his levels of skill set actually lay. And Tom's a formidable guy. Like I've trained with him, I've sparred with him, I've moved around with him. He's strong. He's got pretty much all of his areas of his game. Um, they're just filled. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to execute. He has a game plan. He comes out and he does what he's got to do. So again, I think this is going to be a fantastic fight for him to have. But I also see Tom Mullen definitely being the stronger opponent in this one.
Yeah, Tom, he's 3-0 in his last three fights, three submissions. All of his seven victories have all come via stoppage. He comes to fight. He leaves
Yeah,
it all out there. He's an exciting fight to watch. Like I said, 24 years old. He's still so young. Obviously, the work that him and his brother have done, they've been on the scene for so long. They're
yeah,
so well known. What I love about them as well is, not taking away anything from fighters that, go to different places to train, but the fact that they have built Strike Kings in Bradford, and they're really trying to build that community and really trying to give back to their own community.
yeah.
Is something that I really, really love. They've got some really good amateurs coming up. And yeah, like it's just a massive credit to them. What I also want to mention for this fight is at super lightweight. So it's a new division
I like that.
in MMA, a new division for
Yeah.
Kingdom. You're so experienced in this game. The weight cut in MMA is talked about so much. What do you think having a new weight class in between lightweight and welterweight does for the fighters and for the fans?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Listen, you're in a position now where you haven't got that awkward middle ground where you can actually find the right place for you. And for myself, listen, I've got down to 170. I've done it time and time again. when I very first started, I couldn't do it. I was sitting at like 84 or something like that, and it was very hard for me. So again, just to be able to, you dip your toe into that whole coming into again for these young up and coming athletes, going from amateur to professional and being able to see where they actually lie as far as the weight and getting used to the whole weight cutting. It gives that nice little bit of adaptation to be able to come into the game. As well as that, it's not such a drastic drop between one weight category to the next. So again, it's the longevity for the athletes. It just gives a lot more scope for the fighters in general to find out where they need to be, and obviously it then adds a whole new category for opponents and stuff like that. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
And of course for the fans, right? So if the fighters are healthier, the fighters have, got less of a strenuous weight cut,
Oh, 1
the
million percent.
performances are going to be better, which
Yeah,
means in turn the fights are going to be better, which is, this is a sport for the fans as for the fighters, but we want to be able to have entertaining fights. So I think even it'd be nice to see maybe a division between, welterweight and middleweight as well. There's
yeah,
also a big gap there, but I think it is something that I would like to see in MMA more, more weight divisions, because like you said, it makes it more exciting in every single
yeah,
facet of the
yeah.
game.
It should never be in a position as a fighter where you're concentrating on the weight cut, not on the performance,
Yeah,
because ultimately that is what we're going in there for, right? We train all our life to be what we want to be, as close to perfection as we can be. So then to focus on the whole weight cut, it then takes away and diminishes what it is that we actually are as athletes. So yeah, I definitely think that it's for the greater good.
yeah. The second fight on the main card, Oliver Tero against Warren Lopez. Now, Oliver Tero is, he's such a great fighter at featherweight, one of the most exciting divisions in MMA featherweight at the moment. Oliver, this is his pro debut.
Yeah,
He was one of the most highly, looked after amateurs in featherweight. 7-0,
yeah,
trains that sub zone. Kama Takuru, great coach. I really like what the sub zone guys are doing. You
yeah,
know that, their facet is just so well-rounded. You got great wrestlers, great strikers. It was really interesting actually hearing Oliver Tero in the build-up to this. He was talking about, you know, now that it's pro, he feels like he's a lot more comfortable because he's got a new weapon. It's the elbows.
elbows.
What was it like for you when you make that transition from amateur to pro? How does the training differ? How does the performance differ?
If anything, I'd just say it's all about practice. The way that you practice is the way that you then obviously you're going to come out and you're going to display what you've done. So again, with the elbows and stuff like that, as long as you're getting them in training a long time before you actually do compete and you perform, then I definitely feel like you're going to utilize them in the right ways possible. But yeah, no, 1 million%. As soon as obviously going from semi-pro or amateur to professional, and then obviously opening the full toolbox is a special thing, and you actually feel like it's like being unchained a little bit. So I definitely think for a lot of athletes that are making that transition, that are getting able to open up, especially for Oliver with the elbows and stuff like that, he's going to be loving it in there, and it's going to be time for him to feel like a free athlete.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. His last fight was on Kingdom, and he fought Lookman Tahir, who was a really, really good fighter, and he
Yeah,
smashed him in the first round with a submission.
yeah,
So now, now that you got the ground and pound, which is something he was mentioning, I think, yeah, there's just, I really think Oliver Tero is a really, exciting prospect to keep, your eyes peeled on because, like I said, he's a young kid. He's at a really good gym. He's surrounded by some great fighters,
yeah,
and yeah, I think the future's really bright for Oliver Tero. Warren Lopez, he's a striker. He comes from Brazil. He's got that kind of capoeira style.
yeah.
And he's got more pro experience
Oliver has,
than Oliver. Yeah,
yeah,
he's had 4 pro fights. So I think for Lopez, the route to victory in this is to kind of lean in your
of
experience,
course, definitely.
and kind of make that felt for Oliver.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be places in that cage where he's arguably going to have a bit more experience, and we're going to be able to, test Oliver and try and make him feel uncomfortable. Try and really put that pressure on him, try and break him down. So it's going to be interesting to see how Oliver responds to that. And again, listen, since I've been back in the UK and I'm back home, I've heard a lot about Oliver, so I'm really interested and intrigued to see this guy perform tonight as well. Yeah,
And one last thing on this fight. You've been a prospect yourself, right? You've had the hype of being, the next big guy to come out of the UK. What's it like dealing with that pressure, knowing that, you got a lot of eyes on you, people are, blowing smoke up you as well, and, we were speaking before about how sometimes you can kind of almost be overconfident and you don't want to be going in thinking that you are the man, but also having that confidence that you are. Like,
yeah.
what's the balance in it?
Yeah, that's exactly what you've got it right there, right? It's about finding that balance, and as long as you can find that balance, you use that energy to play in your favor. Like wind under your sails, and it will just carry you. Everything. These moments are very few and far. So one thing that I always do say, and I've always said to every athlete, is enjoy the moments for what they are because they're not going to be around all the time. We spend majority of the year training hours and hours and hours on end, um, and it's very small amount of time that we actually get to go in and perform and be who we really want to be and be free and let ourselves go. So it really is about enjoying that moment.
Well, that's a beautiful transition onto our next fight. We've got Fabrice Uguay against Mick Bowman. Mick Bowman, he's been on the scene for years. He fought on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
He's been around for a very long time. You've known Mick for quite a long time as well, haven't
Yeah,
you?
when I was on the scene, up and coming, Mick was on the scene then, so that speaks a lot to be able to hear that he's still obviously going, he's still doing his thing, and he's looking to obviously make a bit of a comeback and get back out there and obviously pick the tools back up again. So yeah, it's really interesting to see that, and I wish that guy all the best because again, I've had nothing but a good rapport with him, and again, we're obviously coming up in the same sort of generation, if you will. Yeah, he's a good guy, and I want to see him do well tonight as well.
So stylistically, this fight, Mick is such a beast in grappling, right? He's a super good grappler. Fabrice Uguay, from what I have seen, he's more of a striker, and one of his last knockouts actually was a really interesting. It was almost like I'm not comparing him to Stipe Miocic, but it was almost like the Stipe versus Verdun fight, where
Yeah,
he was being tracked against the fence, landed the
and
counter, and he's got
yeah,
some really good power. So kind of that's going to be the battle I think between these two. Is one's going to want to keep it on the feet, one's going to want to take it down. Mick's obviously got a lot more experience than Fabrice, but I think what's interesting for me is, this is Mick's first fight in 8 years.
yeah,
8 years is a big, long layoff. We were speaking about before, like, what is your why? What's your purpose? I spoke to Mick, and he said that over the last 8 years, there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on in his life. He's had a few toxic things that he's had to remove,
yeah.
and kind of not been in there. But now he feels, healthy. He feels strong. What I found was the most interesting, phrase that he used was he feels privileged to be able to do this. Now, I'm working on a documentary at the moment, and we were speaking before about, fighters only realizing the privilege of what they do towards the end of their careers.
Yeah,
And it is something that kind of gets lost when you're going at a million miles an hour. You're trying to just see what's next, what's next, what's next. But it takes either maybe some time off or something big in your life to realize, like, fighting is a short-lived game, right? So to be
very
able
short. Yeah.
to realize that what you're doing is a great opportunity and a great privilege is really nice to see. So yeah, what's it like? What's it like for you to see, the long layoff that he's had and knowing all this? And does that make him a dangerous fighter now?
Do you know what? I think it does. Yeah. Again, that whole taking when they say you don't know what you've got until it's gone, right? And if I take away something from you when you're not quite ready to give it up, the way you respond and the way you react to that will be something either very special or again you whittle away into the shadows. But for the most part, again with fighters and the mentality that most of us possess, I definitely think that's going to be a playing factor for him tonight, and it's going to be something which is going to definitely help lift him for
Yeah,
sure.
100%. One other fighter I want to mention who kind of has a bit of a similar story with a layoff is Aaron Pierre versus Maxwell Souza. So Aaron hasn't fought since 2019 either. Aaron, was one of the top amateurs in the country at the time.
Yeah,
He just made his pro debut, got a beautiful finish. Really exciting fight. He was 8-1 an amateur, 1-0 as pro, devastating knockout power. In his time off, he's gone from purple belt to brown belt, or to black belt, sorry, my apologies, Aaron. He's been on the scene, been doing a really good run of all the grappling tournaments, but again, the long layoff, he had a lot of issues where he had to basically step away from the sport
yeah,
and look after some people in his personal life. Someone close to him got cancer and he had to look after her. They ended up unfortunately passing away. And he ended up breaking his collarbone not long after. So there was all this stuff going on, but he's still kept training. He's
yeah,
now been at Subzone, which again, we spoke about Subzone earlier about what a great gym it is at the
yeah.
moment.
Fantastic, Jim.
And I think the one thing that I think is relevant to both Mick and Aaron in this is how they deal with their emotions, right?
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Because it's one thing to, you know, have that fire, have that burn, and know that after so long you're ready for this moment. But it's managing those emotions to make sure that you're not overextending. You're not like being just too much. You want to kind of just take it all in.
Yeah.
Just be more professional. Have you had any experience where you've had maybe a bit of a long layoff, or you've had to deal with your emotions from personal issues into a fight?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a very emotionally driven person. And anybody who sees me fight and has seen me fight would know that that's very much the way that, if I find myself in a spot of bother or trouble, my emotions can get the better of me. And that's always been my biggest trouble, I would say, and my biggest demon is the fact that I need to beat myself. I need to defeat myself in them aspects of, just overcoming and managing to suppress what it is that I actually truly want to let out and be methodical about the way I apply myself after that. And I think we talk about it before, we talk about your reasons, your purposes, your reasons why. For both of these guys, I think they got fantastic reasons to why. And I think that if they use that in the right way and they implement it in the right way, they can have a fantastic night tonight and they can probably put off one of the best and display one of their best performances so far.
Well, we're looking forward to all the fights, of course. Heading on now to our amateur title cards, we've got some really exciting fights. Anthony McGovern versus Yves Musasa for the European amateur title. Now, I spent a lot of time with Anthony recently. We went to Madeira
Yeah,
with Tom Harvey, who we'll get onto in a minute. Anthony is such an excellent fighter. Anywhere it goes. He's only been training MMA for a short amount of time, but his skills are through the roof.
yeah,
He's got such a beautiful striking background, but his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu has really come along since. He fought Craig McGrattan on our fight night on Friday
yeah,
last year and lost. He lost on points, but man, Craig just turned pro, so it was no bum. It was a real step up for Anthony. I think it showed the character of who he is,
yeah, yeah,
and the response to that loss has been fantastic. He's had 3 fights since, 3 finishes. All 5 of his fights have all come by finish. So exactly. He's an exciting
what you're gonna
fighter.
get. Yeah,
I've spoke with him about the loss, and I know that loss has really left like a sour feeling in him.
yeah,
And I think sometimes you need those losses, whether that's an amateur or professional. You need those losses to really find that next step, find that next hunger, realize what you need to improve on.
yeah. Well, that's what they say, innit? You don't lose, you learn. And I think that is the greatest asset of it in its own truest form is it hits you hard and it makes you start to be very aware about what you're doing on a daily basis and how you start to progress and you want to progress the things that you start to learn, the things that maybe there's one or two bad habits and there's things that you already know that you need to pay attention to. The wins don't necessarily make you pay attention to them. So things like that, like a hurtful loss, that cuts deep, generally tends to prevail and make you into a better person. So yeah, I'm really excited. And again, I've trained with Anthony before, and I tell you what, the kid hits like a truck. He actually genuinely hits like a truck. He's a natural athlete as well, and he's still very early in his days in the sport. So I'm very intrigued and interested to see this kid's growth. I think he's going to have a fantastic future within the MMA facet of life, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy fight also.
I think from my experience of training with him, obviously, so only a short-lived amount of experience I had with him, but I almost felt the impression that he was kind of like playing with his food when he trains with you. He understands everything so well when he's in there with you, and he's got a great fight in Yves Musasa.
Yeah,
Yves is 3-0 in Kingdom. He's undefeated. Now Yves has been banging on to Gav Melia, to everyone at Kingdom about how he wants this title fight, and he's been asking for it for the last, I'd say, over a year.
yeah,
And now he's got that opportunity. So now it's like, you've called out for it. You've trained hard. Now this is your moment now.
of course.
You're probably the underdog in this fight. This is now what it's all built up to, right?
Yeah,
How are you going to perform after calling this? You've manifested this. How does that now play out? And I think there's a bit of bad blood in this fight because Anthony doesn't feel as though Yves is deserving of a fight against him in
yeah,
a fight for the title.
yeah,
So it's going to be explosive.
yeah.
I've got a good feeling.
And again, that speaks volumes, just in general for Kingdom, um, and the card that they've got. Because look at this. This is on the back end of a amateur cards. You understand me? And it's arguably one of the best fights that we're gonna see.
And I mean that, I want to give a quick shout out as well, by the way, to Titanium because that's a fantastic gym.
Yeah,
So many good guys coming out there. Got a few guys on the card from Titanium, so shout out to all the Titanium lot. Um, Tom Harvey,
yeah,
he's fighting for the interim title fight against Manzoro. Now this was meant to be the fight against Diogo Ramos,
yeah.
but unfortunately that fight had to be rescheduled to next year. For the winner of this fight, we went to Madeira, and the day before Diogo actually had a motorbike accident, which
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah,
yeah, he hurt his knee.
yeah,
So unfortunately, that fight will be postponed to next year. So hopefully, we can get one of the biggest fights in bantamweight amateur next year. But I mean, this is still a great fight. Alejandro's got a fantastic amount of experience at amateur. He's 9-6. He's fought at the IMFs. Tom, again, we keep on talking about prospects, but Tom is such a good prospect. I
Yeah.
mean, again, I've trained with Tom. He's at such a good gym with Aspire. Dean Garnett, one of your gyms.
Yeah.
And one thing I found about Tom is, number one, he's got the charisma. He can speak well. He's got that, the El Chapo style, if you like. But I just feel like the fluidity of his game is just, he blends everything so well. Like his kicks, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu. I mean, on his record, right, you see all the submissions and you think he's just a grappler, but man, you can't sleep on this guy
No,
striking.
no,
I mean,
no.
his background comes in striking.
Exactly.
He's just such a well-rounded guy. I mean, what's it like to see him in the gym with Dean Garnett, the journey that he's been on with
Yeah.
Liam as well?
Him and Liam McCracken, they've had a fantastic partnership. And obviously, it's just seen him go strength for strength within his MMA career. Tom, yes, he is somebody who exudes confidence, and that definitely carries him. It's something which helps him get into his flow state. He's a guy which isn't scared of, attempting and trying things. He's very free, if you will, as an athlete and as a fighter, and I think that definitely plays a massive part in his success as an MMA athlete. He's a good all rounder. He knows what he's doing. He's not soft. He's not shy of attempting and trying things, and he's willing to put himself out there. So again, he's definitely going to be another one who's just he's gonna skyrocket, and he's going to be one of the ones to watch on the UK scene in the future, definitely.
What do you think that transition is of, winning all these belts at amateur? Again, we've talked about all these guys that have got such a bright future. What do you think the bridge to the gap, right? Is that the right phrase? When you bridge the gap,
When you
I think,
bridge the
yeah,
gap, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
When you're going, yeah, like I said, from amateur winning titles to then pros to then, trying to become a UFC world champion. What do you think that difference is that you can carry throughout your career?
Well, you got one of the biggest aspects of it is or assets of it is you're going to carry the experience, right? Alongside the experience, you want to be having the test and the right tests at the right time to help your development. Without that, you haven't got the fundamental building blocks to be able to see yourself not only reach your fullest potential, but be able to have a certain level of attainment. And I think that that's very important to any athlete's development in
Yeah, of
general,
course.
right? So we're in a position where Kingdom, for example, have done fantastic with this card, and the matchups for me, arguably, are some of the best matchups that I've seen in the local scene. So I'm in a position where I'm like, well, these are the testing fights that if you're looking to aspire and move on to newfound heights after this, you want these tests
Yeah, of
and you
course.
want them back to back to back, and every time it's only going to make you stronger as a fighter and as an athlete in general.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's kind of like the difference between MMA, specifically Kingdom and boxing, right? It's like, boxing is all about kind of just like stacking and keeping that. Oh, whereas MMA and Kingdom especially is all about putting on the best fights against the best, the best guys against the best. Because, like you said, you want these tests. You don't want to be almost gifted
Yeah,
an amateur record
yeah,
and
yeah,
then you get found out at a pro level. There's no shame in losing. This is such a difficult sport
yeah,
to be undefeated in. You look at, I always give the prime example of someone like Oliveira, right? Charles Oliveira. He's had so many losses, but he's one of the most exciting, most dangerous fighters.
100%, yeah,
One of the most successful UFC fighters of all time.
yeah,
There's no shame in losing. So there's no shame in, like I said, testing yourself and really putting yourself in those deep waters to really find out if you can do it and find out who you are. I
yeah.
think, that's what champions are made out
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And again, the truest elements of a fighter is that he wants to push himself to the highest limits and really see what he is and test himself in whichever way that he can. So again, when that cage door shuts, there's no one in there to help you. It's you, yourself, and the skill set and your mind, your decision making, all of these little factors that are going to play a part into your success on the night ultimately comes down to you and the way that you apply them.
And just finally, I want to wrap up this, but I want to mention one of the amateurs that's on the card, Lucas Carvalho against Arbaz Ahmed. Now, Lucas, he's 2-0. He fights out of IMA Leeds. Great up and coming gym. His two fights, he had one of the fastest amateur knockouts ever, 5 seconds, and then also demolished his second opponent within a minute with ground and pound. Now, I met Lucas when he was about 17. We worked together actually in Pure Gym back in Leeds. And there's sometimes I feel like you meet people, right? And you can just tell there's a bit of a glow. There's a sense of a bit of an aura.
Yeah.
And, this is still very early days in Lucas's career, but I distinctly remember him having a conversation with me about, his dreams of being a world champion, his dreams of achieving all this greatness and wanting to be one of the greatest of all times. And, you know, a lot of people say this, right? There's a lot of people that say the same things. But what I loved about him, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of myself, was that you have to have a certain ambition, desire, and confidence to speak out these dreams, to manifest it to people that I mean, at the time we didn't know each other, you know, that it's delusion until it's real, right?
Of course it is.
And the confidence that he had to tell me that, you know, when I met him after not long knowing him, I just loved that. And, you know, to see his rise and to see his journey, like I said, it's still very early on. You know, this kid is so talented. Anywhere it goes, his determination is, I mean, I feel like he could be one of the biggest prospects to come out of the UK. You know, this guy came from Brazil with his family, not knowing English, to a new culture. You know, these are big things to be making, and to settle in and to really understand what he wants to do. I'm all in on Lucas Carvalho, and I'm really excited to see his make his debut on Kingdom.
Yeah, it sounds like he's very comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And in this game, this definitely what's needed, you know. So yeah, 100% I agree with you on that, and I think that that's something which is definitely going to play a factor in the way his performance goes, for sure.
So that's it for the pre-show. Thank you very much, Danny, for coming on. I just want to make one last announcement. So our next show, Kingdom number 7, we are coming back to Liverpool, Box Park, February 22nd. It's the first ever time a fight show has ever been put on at Box Park. So making history. It's a great venue. Coming back to Liverpool, of course, the home of Kingdom. And yeah, it's been a great time chatting to you. I can't wait to get stuck into these fights. Like I said, you know, bottom to top, top to bottom, we've got the best amateur fights, the best pro fights. And yeah, man, I mean, I never come here and think that I'm not going to see some great fights. So, Danny, thank you very much, brother. I look forward to working with you further. And yeah, man, good to see you. Make sure you tune in to Empire Combat Pass for the first 3 fights. They will be free on the prelims. But of course, to get the juicy fights, you need to go and buy the pay-per-view. Head to Kingdom Instagram, and you can find it all there. Speak soon, and enjoy the fights.
Work me till my bones break, I fight until my body shakes. Let them have it all, 'cause we've something they cannot take. They pray on our devotion, talk it out, emotion. Build us up or break us down, we're never letting go. And I don't need time, 'cause I already know I'm mine. I live to make for this, for so much more than just to kiss you. I learned to build for so much more, and I got iron at my core. And all these words seem bittersweet. We will never taste defeat. Are we your warriors? Are we your warriors? Breathing through the heartaches, learning from the mistakes, mistakes, getting stronger every day. Singular sensation, I am my own creation, and we can build an army up as big as any nation. And all these words seem bittersweet. We will never taste defeat. Are we your warriors? Are we your warriors? Let them try to break our bones. They'll never take us home. And when our bodies are are we your warriors? Are we your warriors? Are we your warriors? Are we your warriors?
pussy since I left. I ain't changing for a check. Tell my mom I ain't forget. Woke up drunk at 10 a.m. We gon' do this shit again. Tell your girl to bring a friend. Oh Lord, 1. Here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round. We need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table. She don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good Lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jay Dale's got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. He comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. When it's last call and they kick us out the door. It's getting kinda late, but the ladies want some more. Oh my, good Lord. Tell them drink some. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jay Dale's got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jay Dale's got a history. At the bottom of a bottle, don't miss me. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. Everybody at the bar get tipsy. Can't be shit, I'm an early bird. It's 10 o'clock before I say a word. Baby, I can never tell. How do you sleep so well? You keep telling me to live right, to go to bed before the daylight. But then you wake up for the sunrise. You know you don't gotta pretend. Baby, now and then, don't you just wanna wake up dark as a lake, smelling like a bonfire, lost in the haze. If you're drunk on life, babe, I think it's great. But while in this world, I think I'll take my whiskey and leave. My coffee black and my bed at 3. You're too sweet for me. You're too sweet for me. I take my whiskey and leave. My coffee black and my bed at 3. You're too sweet for me. You're too sweet for me. I aim low, I aim true, and the ground's where I go. I work late where I'm free from the phone, and the job gets done, but you worry some. I know, but who wants to live forever, babe? You treat your mouth as if it's heaven's gate.
Can all fighters please make their way into the changing room for the rules meeting? Any fighter who is in the building, please make sure they now make their way to the changing rooms for the rules meeting. Thank you.
time stood still, just like a photograph. You made me feel like this will last forever. Looking in your eyes, I see my whole life. Oh, they say you know it, but you know it, I don't know. Oh, promise that you hold me close, don't let me go. Take my heart, don't break it. Love me to my bones. All this time I wasted. You were right there all along. You and I start gazing, intertwining souls. We were never strangers. You were right there all along. I lose my mind when I'm around you, how I come alive. When I'm without you, I can't help but feel so lost. I wanna give you all I've got. Oh, they say you know it, but you know it, I don't know. Oh, promise that you'll hold me close, don't let me go. Take my heart, don't break it. Love me to my bones.
Fuck me till my bones break. I fight until my body shakes. Let them have it all, 'cause we've something they cannot take. They pray on our devotion, dug it out emotion. Build us up or break us down. We're never letting go. And I don't need time. 'Cause I already know I'm mine. I live to make for this for so much more than just to kiss. So I learned to build for so much more, and I got iron at my core. And all these words seem bittersweet. We will never taste defeat. Are we your warriors? Are we your warriors? Breathing through the heartaches, learning from the mistakes, mistakes, getting stronger every day. Singular sensation, I am my own creation, and we can build an army up as big as any nation. And all these words seem bittersweet. We will never taste defeat. Are we your warriors? Are we your warriors? Let them try to break our bones. They'll never take us home. And when our bodies are
I do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay. I get drunk, wake up, I'm wasted still. I realize the time that I wasted here. I feel like you can't feel the way I feel. Be f***ed up if you can't be right here. I'll be f***ed up if you can't be right here. I do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay. I do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay. When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma f*** it up. Ain't no way that I can leave you stranded, 'cause you ain't never left me empty-handed. And you know that I can't live without you. So baby, stay. I'll be f***ed up if you can't be right here. I do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay. I do the same thing I told you that I never would. Told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay. I need you to stay, need you to stay. We had a plan, move out of this town, baby, west to the sand. It's all we talked about lately. I packed a car, bring your guitar, and Jane for smoking. First thing at dawn, you'd cue the songs, and we get going. Brought you on home, waited on the porch for you, sat there alone. All throughout the morning till got a hunch down in my gut and snuck around the back. Empty cans and I'll be damned, your bags were never packed. Did your boots stop working? Did your truck break down? Did you burn through money? Did your ex find out? Where there's a will and there's a way, and I'm damn sure you lost it. Didn't even say goodbye, just wish I knew what caused it. Was the whiskey flowing? Were you in a fight? Did the nurse come get you? What's your alibi? I made my way back to LA, and that's where you'll be forgotten. In 40 years, you'll still be here, drunk, washed up in Austin.
Can we please get all officials and medical team to ringside, to cage side, sorry. Everyone to cage side, ready to start our action.
Did you plan on leaving? What happened? Bad habits. Did you go back? Go back. I loved you. How tragic. Oh, did your boots stop working? Did your truck break down? Did you burn through money? Did your ex find out? Where there's a will and there's a way, and I'm damn sure you lost it. Didn't even say goodbye, just wish I knew what caused it. Was the whiskey flowing? Were you in a fight? Did the nurse come get you? What's your alibi? I made my way back to LA, and that's where you'll be forgotten. In 40 years, you'll still be here, drunk, washed up in Austin.
Can we please get all officials and medics to cage side? What is the pound for pound? The Empire Combat. Yeah.
Hello. Hello and welcome to Kingdom 6. We are here live from the Bowlers exhibition in Manchester. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett Baker. How we doing, man?
Good to be back. Looking forward to the fight. Such a stacked card, as always.
As always,
As
man.
always, super technical gyms, super game gyms. Like Gavu does all the matchups. Incredible as always. Buzzing.
Do you know what I love as well? This is the biggest pro card we've had so far. We've got 4 absolutely brilliant pro fights. 2 notable ones for me. I mean, we were speaking about before, the 2 guys that have had the longest layoffs. You got Mick Bowman and Pierre. But then, of course, you know, the main event, Tom Mullen against Tony Silva, Oliver Tero against Lopez. I mean, this card is stacked. I mean, it feels like it's almost a repetition of our words every time we get together, but it just is the case of what the show is. You know, Kingdom is the best fighting the best. and I'm just looking forward to a great night.
Absolutely, and like straight away looking at the card, I'm quite looking forward to the international matchups. We've got the guys from Knucklehead, who we've seen them numerous times on Kingdom coming back and forth, like always super game to fight. But we've got some characters here we've seen come through.
Yeah.
We've got guys coming from Brazil and
Spain as well. We've got some severe fight center guys on there.
yeah, man, like I'm really excited about that because like we've talked about before, different metas for different games, puts a little bit of drama to the whole thing. Super cool main event there. It's going to be great to watch Tom Mullen. I remember training with Tom when he was probably like 16, quite a bit smaller. Now he's absolutely killing it.
Do you know what's crazy about Tom, right? I didn't realize this. He's only 24.
Yeah,
He is still so young. 24 years old, 7-2, 7 finishes. Interestingly enough as well, he's fought 3 Brazilians in his pro career and not lost to a single one of them.
So, yeah, we'll see if we can make it
Can
4.
he continue the run of Brazilians that he's beaten? But yeah, I mean, you know, the Mullen brothers have been on the scene for so long. This was meant to be originally Callum fighting Tony Silva, but Callum had to pull out through injury. And, you know, I said this a bit in the pre-show. There's nothing to take away fighters that move to train or anything, but there is something that I love about fighters who, you know, build a base in the city or the town that they're from. You know, what they're doing with Strike Kings and Bradford, you know, they're building their own community, they're giving back to the community. And yeah, I just really love that.
Yeah, and it's super difficult to do, to run a gym and to fight as well. So the fact that they're able to come together, and they've got like Ben Bennett there working with the grappling, Mataleo, another sick gym. Like it's the same gym, but it's like almost like that's the grappling side. Strike Kings is the MMA and striking side. It's difficult to run a gym and fight. So for those guys to be able to band together, come together, I think it's really cool because you see the kids in Bradford, they really look up to these guys.
Yeah.
And that gym is rammed because everybody wants to emulate them, and I think that's cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big warm welcome here to the Bowlers Exhibition Centre in Manchester, where Kingdom Combat Championship live on Empire Combat Pass and powered by Pound for Pound and Flux proudly presents an evening of MMA action. We are now to welcome our first fighters to the cage. Please welcome first and making their way to the red corner, David Tanos.
Our first fight of the night, David Tanos against Cristiano Ornelas. What a great corner David's got, you know, the Trident guys. You can see Billy Adams, you know, Billy's a good friend of the show's fought on the show multiple times. You know that you've got a good team around you when you've got the experience and the skill of people like that around you.
Absolutely. I spoke to Billy in the back and he said, even though this is David's first fight, it's his debut, he's one to watch. He's been absolutely killing it in the gym. And you've got a guy like Billy Adams saying that about you, then it's going to build some kind of hype, because Billy Adams is a man of his word, as everybody knows. So I'm super excited for this fight, and what a way to kick off the card. One thing I will say about the Trident guys, super well rounded. They're striking and grappling, it's on equal level with one another. Sometimes with gyms, you know they're going to lean one way or the other. When it comes to Trident, if you're fighting a guy from Trident, you better be ready for everything of all facets, in all areas.
The Trident brand is expanding quite a lot as well. You know, you got the expansion of the Wrexham Gym, which just had their first year anniversary last weekend, headed up by Josh Roberts. You know, Josh was a really good amateur, and you know, to see the Trident brand growing, it's only going to help fighters all around the country, really.
So Paul, I think this is the first time I've commentated, and I've just noticed the Kingdom gloves. Is that a thing?
Yes, that was the.
Oh wow!
I don't think it's mandatory for every fighter, but I think, you know, I said this to Gav when we were in Madeira. I would love to see the Kingdom red gloves.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Cage Warriors have got their yellow gloves, and I'd like it to be a staple of Kingdom where when you fight on Kingdom, you get the red gloves. You don't really see it anywhere else.
I think that's cool as well, because then everybody's got the same equipment.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh well, these gloves are a bit different to mine.
Yeah.
Nah, you're on the same thing. It's a cool brand.
Cristiano Ornelas fighting out of Knuckleheads. You know, we went to Madeira not long ago, and the Knucklehead guys are so good. You know, headed up by Coach Simon Shaw. you know, they've got a wealth of experience of travelling over. You've got the likes of Mabrega, you've got the likes of Jogo Ramos, who have been there, they've done that. And yeah, it's going to be great. Head guys sat right next to us. Billy Adams across the road, across the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty cool name, man. Knucklehead MMA, pretty cool.
And you know what? It's really, really cool to see because, yeah, it's really cool to see that, you know, these guys come from a tiny island, and to be able to produce fighters who are competing for amateur titles. I mean, obviously this is Cristiano's debut, but to see these guys from a tiny island, from a small, you know, pool of fighters to choose from, to come over, to have the confidence to come into a different country and, you know, show what they're about. I've got a lot of respect and admiration for what Simon Shaw has done with Knuckleheads.
Absolutely, Paul. Absolutely.
Introducing our first fighter, fighting out from the left corner, and representing Tribal Martial Arts, David Tanos. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent, facing him across the cage and fighting out of the blue corner, representing MMA Knuckleheads,
Can you remember what it was like when you had your first fight?
Yeah and no. I just remember it being a lot more wild than I remember. I remember the guy opening up with a massive low kick, and I thought, that were a bit mean. But yeah, it was great, super exciting. It always feels good just to start following your dream and know that you've opened it up.
First fight of the night.
David Tanos straight away with the pressure, pushing his man back towards the cage.
Landed a nice uppercut in that exchange. Nice cage control.
Ooh.
Oh,
Big body shots by Tanos. Opens the head up.
Nice movement there from Cristiano.
The problem you've got here, Cristiano's circling towards the power side of Tanos. He has the natural advantage as well, being the southpaw, but drifting over to that side is going to take away that advantage and leave it into the hands of Tanos. So he entered that clinch on the wrong side, immediately giving Tanos a massive advantage. They're looking for the Americana. Very rarely a sub you get from that position, but it does help create a scramble, start working for a pass. Tanos there, head control, could be looking for an arm in guillotine, trying to take the back.
Good work from Cristiano to not accept position there.
It's a good job working back to his feet as well.
Yeah. These boys are very, very thick for featherweight.
Yeah, that's very true. Nice trip there from Tanos. He's immediately on the neck. Can he keep back? Can he keep top position? Straight into striking. Very composed to say this is his debut.
Oh.
Billy was absolutely right in speaking about David Tanos, like not taking away from Cristiano. Cristiano,
Lovely kick.
is still very much dangerous in this fight.
Lovely knee.
That was a
big
massive body
uppercut.
shot.
Tanos did not like that.
I was going to say, it looks like the tide might be turning on that shot. But Tanos still takes centre cage. Check. We've still got Cristiano Ornelas is circling to that power side again. He's sort of taking away his own advantage. Beautiful trip off the overhook there. Looks like head control. Knee on belly. Can he swing over to mount?
See the difference for
Looking
me
the
here.
armbar on the far side. Oh, he steps off. Just under him.
Oh, beautiful.
Sweep. Looks like he might be setting up an Americano. What am I talking about? An anaconda or DOS. He's got that anaconda grip.
30 seconds left of this first round.
I think this has been a round dictated by the grappling. Like both guys have been good in the stand-up, landing probably equal amount of strikes, but it's Tanos here taking control of that front headlock. Putting a good full stop on the end of the round there.
Oh, big
body shot to
uppercut on the
finish.
way up. Great first round.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, Tanos, he had the cage control, you know, he was on the front foot, he was pushing Cristiano against the fence. Cristiano did well to weather the storm, you know, I don't think there was ever a point where you felt like he was wobbled or whether, he wasn't in there, but he landed a few nice strikes of his own, beautiful knee in the last minute of the round. And what I loved about him was, you know, he was working well to get back to his feet and he wasn't accepting position. I think sometimes you can see fighters accept position very easily.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he was, you know, constantly trying to get back to his feet, which was good. I think what I liked about Cristiano, he had the head kick, but it'd be nice to see him set that up a little bit more, you know, go to the body maybe, then go up top.
Yeah, also, if you're setting up that head kick, he needs to be going away from the power side, because you make that kick, it takes longer to throw. If he can step through and step across to his right-hand side and throw that left kick, it's probably going to land a bit smoother.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that, for me, that is his goal. That's his victory, path to victory in this round. For Tanos, it's just more of the same. He's quite clearly dominating the grappling.
Yeah.
He might not be getting the subs, but he's threatening, he's scoring, and he's wearing on his man. So. And
also, Tanos, you know, when he's striking, it wasn't one or two. He was landing some really nice combinations. So.
Yeah, beautiful shots to the body as well. But look, we've got Cristiano here. He's drifting towards that power side of Tanos, which is putting him lying for a big right hand or a big body kick. Surprised Tanos has not thrown that body kick. Oh, that one right on the liver. That hurt Tanos as well. He's doing a good job of getting back on that arm. That's the hardest thing about fighting a southpaw, though, right? Once that body kick lands, you're taking it right on the liver.
Yeah.
Incredible scramble.
I was also going to say as well, I think that's kind of maybe a bit where the inexperience comes in from Tanos because, you know, position first, right? That's
absolutely.
I think if he took his time, like he was taking his time at the end of the first round to try set something up as opposed to kind of scrambling to try to get it straight away, I think Tanos would have a bit more success.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you're right at the start of your career, you forget about the position because you feel like you're better at grappling than your opponent, or maybe you're getting top side of your opponent, so you can be quite quick to jump on those subs, whereas just setting them up for a little bit longer. But he's doing a brilliant job with these
bright lights as well, don't you?
Absolutely.
I see it there straight away.
Absolutely. But he's doing a fantastic job of controlling the hips here, Cristiano. He's getting those hooks in. He's got that Dagestani ankle on the far side. He might have just lost it, but he's going to take mount. Head and arm here, Paul.
He's on the wrong side. He's close to the cage. He needs to kind of cut a bit of an angle. He can't let that knee cross him.
Good sliding over there.
Oh,
that's tight.
This could be over.
That's tight. Cristiano, he might be thinking of tapping, but he doesn't look in too much of a panic right now.
Tanos needs to maybe be a bit more of an angle.
Get a bit lower. If he gets a bit lower. Cristiano doing a good job of creating distance between his shoulder and neck. Take pressure off. Just a minute left on this round. Back on that armbar. The problem we've got there is we're not clamping down first. We're grabbing the arm and we're not getting the legs in place. Look at Cristiano arm and guillotine.
Is that under?
No. Not under the chin. He's giving up top position for the threat of that gilly. There's a beautiful back takeoff here if he can get it. Smashes the hips down instead.
So we've seen more of an acceptance of a position towards the end of this second round.
Keeping a guy like with the physicality of Tanos off you. He's going back for that arm. That's tight. 20 seconds left in the round. Tanos cut an angle. He switched to a triangle maybe. Yeah, the elbows through the knee line.
Oh, nice work from Cristiano.
Switches to the side of his body. He's doing a good job of surviving these arm bars every time. I think Tanos needs to change his approach to locking the head down, locking the shoulders down rather than just pulling on the arm. You know, you just pull on the arm.
Yeah.
You give your fighter a chance to sit up and start creating space. If you can lock the head down and the shoulder as well before you get the arm, you could put like so much pressure behind the back of the elbow.
I mean, Tanos is having a great fight. He's 2 rounds up.
He is.
Cristiano, you know, he needs a big third round. He needs to finish if he wants to come away with a win tonight.
Pretty sure that's what his corner will be telling him as well. Like he's key to victory here. Again, he's to stay on the feet, try and land that. Maybe like a left head kick, set it up, throw that left high, throw that left straight. I'm sure Tanos' corner is going to be telling him to get him back to the ground. Push your man to the fence, get him back to the ground.
What I like about both these guys as well is they both have fought at a really good pace, so you can tell they're both very well prepared and they're both fit.
Yeah, incredible conditioning. The thing is, you have to just calling for the hammer fist there from. I'm not going to repeat what was said, but you know, hammer fist from the armbar position. It's not a jiu-jitsu match. You can hit him in the head, try and break that grip.
Third and final round.
Cristiano there is still circling towards the power side. Tanos can exploit that for a big right hand. That's the one.
Big
That's
uppercut.
the right hand. There we go.
Beautiful body shots have killed him. Uppercut as well.
Beautiful throw.
I mean, how many times has he done that in this fight? Beautiful work.
Well, you got Cristiano. Like, he's driving forward constantly, and the problem when you're always driving forward is quite easy to start manipulating that into a throw. You know, tight Americana that. I believe it was Americana. I couldn't quite see from the angle, but put a lot of torsion on the shoulder.
Beautiful work from David Tanos to start off the night with a beautiful submission. I mean,
well, there was submission hunting all the way through that fight, and it's there's an expression: you chuck enough mud at the wall, it'll stick. When it comes to being a submission fighter, you've constantly got to be that threat. And he did set up his position better there. He locked his man down, isolated that elbow and shoulder. I just hope Cristiano's okay.
Cristiano can come away with that with his head held high, I think, because he's still, you know, this is his first ever fight. You're fighting in a different country, and, you know, although I don't believe that he won any of the rounds, he still put on a good performance. You know, he didn't give up on himself. He still had his moments where he landed well. You know, like I said, he was never accepting position. He was always trying to get back up. I think there's a lot of positives to take from this performance. You know, there's a lot to grow and a lot to build on. So, you know, congratulations to David Tanos for a fantastic performance. But, you know, head up for Cristiano because, you know, this is the fight game, man. It's this stuff happens.
I'd have never guessed that was a debut fight for either man.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, please have a big round of applause for both of our fighters. After 34 seconds and round number 3, David Tanos. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a big round of applause for Cristiano Ornelas.
Beautiful work to start the fight. Start the fight card, man.
Yeah, like I said, I would have never guessed that was a debut fight for either man there. Some fantastic grappling on display from David Tanos, but I think what set it up there is those big uppercuts. Got his man stepping towards the power side, big uppercuts, big body shots, force that forward drive, and from that he could use the momentum to hit the throw. Dominant position before submission, and it's exactly as I said. When you fight the guys from Trident, you're not just fighting strikers, you're not just fighting grapplers, you're fighting mixed martial artists.
Well, I mean, we saw his striking was really good, wasn't it? The body shots were, you know, I think the body shots is what really took Cristiano down before, obviously, the throw. I mean, he landed about 3 or 4 body shots, you know, in a row with a beautiful uppercut. I think, you know, he's got a great team, like we were talking before. Trident is a really good gym, and there's a lot of confidence you can have with having someone like Billy Adams in your corner.
Yeah, especially somebody in your corner you know's been on this show quite a lot as well. Like, I'd say if Cristiano listens back to this, get straight back in there, bro. Get healed up, get back in there, get your experience. It's just more cage time, more minutes, bro. Ready for his pro career, both their pro careers.
Yeah, of course. Like just having a little nod at Lucas Carvalho. He's someone that I'm really excited to see tonight. You know, me and Lucas, I was speaking to this before. Lucas, I met him when he was about 17 years old when we used to work at Pure Gym together, and there was a sense of like aura about him. Sometimes you meet a lot of people that say that they want to be a world champion and they want to do this and that, but there was just something different about. It reminded me of myself in the way that I've got a lot of confidence in my own delusion that I'm going to get to where I want to be one day, and it was kind of the same energy that I got. I could see it in his eyes that he meant it with full seriousness, that he could tell someone that he's never really met before, I'm going to be a world champion and I'm going to do this. And he's 2-0. He's got the quickest amateur knockout, I believe, with 5 seconds on his debut, and then he also had a beautiful fight in his last fight where he got a ground and pound stoppage in the first minute. We're talking about IMA again. Fantastic gym, and my praise for Lucas Carvalho is super high. Sorry to go off on a bit of a tangent, but
it's cool,
I
man.
saw
It's
Lucas
cool.
on the back of my eye. I was like, I had to give a little shout out to him.
No, it's cool, man. Like, it's a great gym. It's IMA. I've known Liam for a number of years. Fantastic guy.
We are ready to welcome our next fighters to the cage. Please welcome first and making their way to the red corner, Imran.
Danny Imran fighting out of SBG Rochdale. He fought last on the Friday Fight Night card. He did lose that fight, so he'll be looking to come back to Kingdom and prove himself once again.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, he had a good fight. Like, I was commentating on that fight, showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of determination. He's got a brilliant corner there, brilliant team. SBG Rochdale, one of the more longer standing teams up in the northwest, sort of thing. And he's always been a formidable corner. He's got Stapes as a coach, someone who's been there, done it, got a t-shirt numerous times, been a champion himself. And again, when you're fighting the guys from SBG camp, you can expect well-rounded mixed martial artists. So I'm really excited to see Danny Imran back in the cage.
There's always a feeling as well, I feel like, when you're one of the early fights on a card, right, it really can set the tone for the rest of the night. So it's a really cool opportunity to really, get things going, but not for the show, but for yourself. Like, I think there could also be a lot of pressure on that moment. Knowing that the first few fights are what sets it, you're like, okay, well, the moment can feel a bit bigger almost because you're at the beginning of it. Everyone's
Absolutely,
watching, nothing's really started yet, so it's on you to kind of start the feeling, if that makes any sense.
Good reception there for Dylan Bailey.
Dylan, what a great guy. Fights out of the great Titanium. He's been with Gav Hughes for such a long time, ever since he was a kid. He's so young, he's so well-grounded, he's well-rounded, which is obviously a good credit to his coaches. We saw that in his last fight. He looked really good on the feet with some nice kicks, and he controlled the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu nicely. I'm looking forward to seeing the improvements Dylan's made since his last fight. He's surrounded by some really good guys, and I'm sure he'll be looking to build a nice win of runs. Although he's young, there's no need to rush it at the same time, right? There's no need to rush, but it's good to get that run going for the confidence, and also just to constantly be in there, constantly get that experience.
Absolutely, your amateur career, when it comes down to mixed martial arts, it's more about getting time in the cage, getting experience, seeing things before you go pro. Another super experienced corner, you've got Gav there. Gav himself returning to competition quite recently.
Yeah, had a really good fight in Cage Warriors actually.
Absolutely, yeah, training with Cam and the guys at Sub-Zone, so he's bringing knowledge in from over there.
And obviously we see Bradley McDonough as well in his corner. Dylan's a really, really good guy, man. I think, with how young he is, and again, the guys that he has around him, it's all about just taking it in your stride and utilising what's in your environment. And I'm excited for this fight. I think it's a very well-matched fight. I think these guys are both really good, young and up-and-coming fighters, so yeah, let's get to it.
Well, one of the coolest things about commentating on shows like this is we'll get to know these young guys, and we get to watch them as they rise through the ranks over the years, and the stories that they'll tell. And sometimes it goes in different directions to what you expect. There's always drama, there's always...
Well, fighting's the most unpredictable sport in the world, right?
Yeah, man. So that's what makes it fantastic to commentate on and to watch. So when you get to watch two young guns like this go at it, chase their dreams, there's always kind of like an atmosphere. I've been walking around the crowd already. It's already bubbling, people are excited. But especially when it comes to the young lads, it's kind of a different kind of energy.
Dylan looks like he's in real good shape as well. Great reception, like you said, for Dylan.
I know we're in Manchester, but it's kind of like hometown fighter on the Liverpudlian show of Kingdom, right?
Away we go. Yeah, one thing, like I said, that I really noticed that I liked about Dylan's last fight was he was just very composed.
Nice low kick there.
Oh, nice right hand.
Dylan Bailey. Nice hand right. Right hand by Danny Imran there as well.
Nice feints.
Brilliant face there by Bailey.
Beautiful. Dylan looks like he's in the zone right now.
He's pressing Imran right back up against the cage. Hard to retreat there. Whoa, beautiful right hand by Imran. Answered immediately by Bailey.
Dylan's just seeing everything. Beautiful kick.
Beautiful. Do you know what he did
there?
I
didn't like that.
Oh, furious low kicks. That's some Ramon Decker's energy right there. Slinging that shin right into the meat.
This is just the epitome of the Thai style coming out of Titanium right now.
They've always been known as fierce strikers of Titanium. They can do it all, but their striking's phenomenally fierce.
It'd be nice to see Dylan just move his head after he's thrown a strike. He's kind of just got a bit of a stiff head after
And
he's
again,
thrown.
oh, that really hurt Imran.
Nice right hand again. And Dylan clinches.
Kick him again. That,
Oh,
the welt on the
beautiful.
leg of Imran. Wow. It's tenderized.
Nice right hand from Imran. Oh, beautiful combination by Bailey.
Smashing right
Knee
hand.
two. Good right hand again. This is
brilliant range management there.
This is a
By
domination
Bailey.
from Dylan Bailey at the moment.
He's really coming into his own and finding his flow state. Imran's still dangerous with that right hand. But for every right hand of Bailey's that lands, it just takes a little bit of
another
wind
one.
out of Imran.
Great cornering from Gav Hughes.
See more of that low kick
Oh,
coming out
lovely
there
left
from Bailey.
He's smothering Imran at the
He
moment.
is. Surprised Imran's
right
not looked
hand
to
is-
shoot and grapple. Lovely right hand there again from Bailey. Imran's striking back, but he's sort of flailing back, whereas Bailey's landing with lots harder shots with more venom. Paul, can you
Beautiful.
see what's the low kick off this teep? He set the teep up, he's thrown the threat of the teep, he's done it again, he's going to come back with the low kick. Superman punch. That low kick's there. He's going to use it again. Big
Beautiful uppercut. Right hand
Sets
again.
up the right hand.
What a performance.
What
by
a
Dylan
warrior
Bailey
is
so
Imran
far.
though. Imran is not giving up. No way, Paul.
Wow.
Oh, big deep breath there from Imran. He's not giving up. He's throwing back. But what we've got there from Dylan Bailey is just volume landing.
That was a beautiful first round by Dylan Bailey. Can't ask for much better than that.
Brilliant use of the teep as well. I thought he was going to use it to set up the low kick again, but he used it to fake the low kick. Superman punch, GSP style.
And
Sick.
again, you know, it was what I noticed in his last fight, but the same thing happened again. He's being composed.
He is.
You know, he's not rushing his shots. He's picking his timing, throwing feints in and out. That's a superb round from Dylan Bailey.
I think what we've got there is we've got a fighter who laid the law down early.
Yeah.
Dylan Bailey went out there, set his precedent early on, and just did not let his foot off the gas, did not give Imran a chance to breathe. That first low kick landed, and after that, it was a swarm. I wouldn't be shocked if Danny Imran looks to shoot in this round, looks to take the fight to the ground. Because he does not want to get backed up on that cage again. The guys from SBG Rochdale got sick grappling, so it's all about the hips of Dylan Bailey in this round, in my opinion, seeing if he can stop the shot, keep the man on the end of his punches.
I mean, look at that leg. That leg is bruised. You can see the marking from those kicks.
Yeah, and Dylan Bailey immediately took centre cage as well. See if he uses that low kick again.
You know, you wonder the damage that front leg has got. It looks like he's, you know, he hasn't got the strength on the front leg, Danny Imran, which will cause him problems.
He does. One thing you've got as well that Imran's doing is he's pointing his toes inwards, which means the outside of the leg, it's always good. It's always there for the taking, and trying to check when you've got your toes pointed inwards is incredibly difficult. As I've learned myself over the years, you kind of need to get that toes pointed out a little bit.
He's chopping the inside.
He is chopping the inside as well, Paul. Fakes the teep. Imran, he's a bit tentative to throw that right hand. There's the shot. Heavy hips. Dylan Bailey takes that front headlock. Shoots a gilly. That's tight. He's going to come up on top. That's tight. Imran's thinking of tapping.
Beautiful work by Dylan Bailey.
Savage. What a savage.
Phenomenal performance by Dylan Bailey. From the first minute, the first second of the fight, really, it was just a complete domination. You know, his striking was through the roof, and a beautiful submission. You know, pounced immediately on the shot from Imran, and you know, that's an intelligent fighter.
Yeah.
When he sees everything, you know, he just saw everything. There wasn't a single thing that Danny Imran threw that he didn't see. So, you know, I was talking before about the improvements that we'd like to see. You know, that is a great improvement for Dylan Bailey. And, you know, congrats to the Titanium Gym and Gav Hughes. Phenomenal performance.
I think one thing we've got there is, you know, like I said earlier, Dylan Bailey put the foot on the gas from the first second and did not let it off. Wow.
Three wins in a row now for Dylan. Like I said, now this is the perfect template to now go on a nice run. You know, he's still so young. This kid has got a lot of talent and a lot of, you know, he's a prospect. So, you know, congrats again to Dylan. Congrats to Titanium Gav Hughes. It's a great start for the guys.
Yeah, commiserations there to Danny Imran. He's incredibly tough. He stick with it the whole fight. I feel like that shot, he really wanted the shot, but he didn't quite commit enough to it, got caught. Like, Danny Imran just needs to get rested up, get back in the cage, just like we spoke about in the first fight. These guys, super young, it's all about gaining experience, so super tough. He didn't give up, didn't quit. You know, many lesser fighter would have given up at that point, and he just kept fighting back and back, landing shots of his own, landing that right hand. He looked for the shot, so Danny Imran, if you're still listening, bro, get back in the gym, get back fighting. Man, super sick fight for both lads.
Big man Jay Campbell has just come into the building. Well, what a way to start the fight. I mean, I feel like there's something about Kingdom, right, where I feel like we never see decisions. The amount of stoppages we see on these shows is incredible.
Yeah, I think that's a twofold thing. It's the matchmaking from Gav, does a fantastic job, but I also think it's because you bringing gyms to Kingdom that are known for producing finishing fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go with our next contest. Please welcome our first fighter
This is our last fight that's free on the prelims on YouTube. So if you do want to continue watching our fights, make sure you head to the Kingdom Instagram and download the pay-per-view. We've got an action-packed card all night long, so loads of fights. And of course, you know, buying the pay-per-view, this is what helps the fighters. You know, it's giving back to the community, and it's what will help these shows. You know, it helps them grow and helps the fighters, you know, have the opportunity to fight on these big shows.
That's a cool thing now, like with the streaming that fight shows do. I remember when that weren't really a thing. People can still watch their cousins, their uncles, their aunties, their friends, you know, who do fight from the comfort of their own home.
Yeah.
On the pay-per-view, and that's another way of supporting. If you can't make it in person, you can still watch the fight. So that's sick. Another way to level up amateur MMA in this country.
Charlie Beasley, fighting out of Urban Kings, is 1-0. He loves the Thai style way of striking, and you know, he made his debut on our Friday fight night where he stopped Ben McCourt in the first round. So we'll be looking to emulate his debut performance tonight.
Yeah, I remember that show. I remember that fight. That was a sick fight. Yeah.
That was at the Win Factory, right?
Yeah, back in the OG place.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the blue corner, Sambo God.
I always love seeing the big boys fight at amateur because it's not really a common thing.
Yeah, like the bigger lads tend to have shorter amateur careers, but I've known guys like middleweights have like 30 amateur fights before they've been pro. Yeah.
Wow.
Not many. I've only known like 1 or 2. Usually, because the big boys carry the power, they can get a couple of knockout wins and then move up to pro and get paid.
Here he is, Sambor Gaj.
Again,
fighting out a team underdog.
Rocking those Kingdom gloves. I do like the look of these gloves.
They're cool, aren't they?
Yeah, good dome style to them. Nice protected thumb.
They're comfortable. I've trained in them before.
Are they? Yeah. I might have to see about getting a pair. If I didn't commentate on this show, I'd love to put my guys fighting on this show.
Oh, I think you could put your guys on this show.
No, I'm so selfish. I'd rather commentate on it. I love the front row seat is priceless, Paul.
Of course.
The front row seat is priceless. As much as that's a front row seat, I'd rather have this one.
This is the comfort. This is the best seat in the house because obviously it's the job, but this is a privilege to get to commentate so close.
Absolutely. I was saying, like when we're so close, you can feel the cage rumble. You can almost. It sounds a bit gross, but you get covered in the sweat, and you can hear it so close to you.
It's not quite happened to me yet, but I don't know whether it's a bit of a weird thing to admit, but I would love to have a moment where I got a bit of blood on me. That's like when you know you're close.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Have you had blood on?
It makes it feel a bit more real.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird thing to say you want to be bled on, but it's kind of like a check mark of being a commentator.
I think you've got to be a commentator to understand that, yeah. Game face there by Sam Borgaj. Game face.
Live on Empire Combat Pass and powered by Pound for Pound and Flux Kingdom Combat Championship. Proudly presents 3 3-minute rounds of 83-kilogram amateur MMA action. Where the contest begins, our referee in charge, Jamie Alderson. Introducing our first fighter, fighting out to the red corner. And representing Urban Kings, Charlie Beasley. And please welcome, fighting out of the blue corner and representing Team Underdog, Sambo God.
Gotta say, Charlie Beasley's got some pretty cool tattoos. I'm trying to work out what the third one is. I'm pretty sure there's a Bart Simpson, looks like he does Thai boxing. And then there's, I'm trying to work out what the third one is. I think it's like a side duck and then something else. You'll have to wait till he gets a bit closer.
Oh!
Hey! No.
1 punch knockout by Charles Beasley.
Maybe not.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
No messing. Wow.
What a
I hope
knockout that was.
I hope
wow.
Sambo's okay. Flash knockout. I mean, once this fight starts, the fight starts. There don't necessarily need to be a feeling out process. Once it's on, it's on.
How long? That was like 2 seconds. Lucas Carvalho, I don't know if he's going to be listening to this, but he might have just beaten your amateur knockout record. What a punch.
I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. I've never seen that before. I've seen 5 seconds, 6, 7. Never seen that.
That was one punch.
Wow.
I almost said it, and it didn't quite come out of my mouth, so it's a bit rich for me saying it now, but when you look at the two, Charlie did look a lot more loose and comfortable. I did feel like Sambo felt like he was feeling the moment a little bit too much.
Oh, wow.
The cameraman showing us a great photo.
I mean, Charlie, it seems that you're not knackered. Maybe you come and show us your tattoos and can work out what they are. Like, wow. I was going to say that kid must be packing some serious power, like looking at the sides of his shoulders in traps. Like, wow. Step straight in, do a big right hand. Yeah, man. Wow. We need another word for wow, but I'm speechless. Speechless.
Big round of applause for both fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, you're winner by knockout. After 7 seconds of round number 1, fighting out to the red corner, Charlie.
Jeez Louise, man.
Beasley.
Jeez Louise, man.
Well, please,
I'll tell you what as well, you know, 7-second knockout, you can go back and you can fight next week.
Yeah. I mean, you're not taking any kind of damage, are you?
No, I mean,
You're just ready to go again.
I mean, it's...
The thing is, like, as soon as the fight starts, the fight has started. You'll see a lot of time over the pros, they'll start, you're switched on straight away. When you're early in your amateur career, it is a lot easier to get caught out. So, like, commiserations there to Sambo, guys, like, these things happen. It's a flash knockout, like, it's just stepping in, big right hand.
I feel like as well, you know, sometimes what can happen when you do have, not to say an easy fight to be disrespectful, but when you have a fight that doesn't last long, you almost don't get that feeling of, like, you know, when you go through a full
When you've had a
camp
war, yeah.
and you can go into a fight and then at least you've got that release of energy, like, oh, well, I had my fight, whereas there's a good chance Charlie will come away from that. I think that was sick, but I didn't really get the fight feeling that I was wanting. I mean,
Yeah, I know
he'll
what you
be
mean,
buzzing
yeah.
that he got a
Yeah.
knockout that quickly, but I'm sure that you know, it's the thing that fighters love, right? It's the feeling of knowing you've actually been in a
Yeah,
fight.
well, it goes back to what you were saying. Like, he's not taking any kind of injury. He can work back in. He can get stuck straight back in. Obviously, Sambo, guys, he's going to be looked after by the excellent doctors here. He'll be given a concussion protocol. He'll have a certain amount of time he's going to take off from training. But when he goes back, it's not like he's took any kind of... He's not been through a war himself. He can ease back into it.
Yeah, so that is it for the free prelims. We are now going to shoot live to the pay-per-view, so make sure you go to Kingdom Instagram and buy the pay-per-view. We're going to take a short interval and we'll be back with Kieran King against Joel Kane.
Ooh, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to get going with our next contest. Please welcome our first fighter making their way to the red corner, Kieran King.
Welcome to the pay-per-view, Kingdom 6 BEC Arena in Manchester. If you've just joined us, you've missed an exciting start.
Wow,
you've
yeah.
missed a beautiful, you know, I think the official record was 7 seconds, but it was probably about a 2 or 3 second knockout from